Alright, so we start off, looks like a review of the Pythagorean theorem and the tangent ratio. So this should be a review. Okay, Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Hopefully you know this. A and b are the legs. C is the hypotenuse. Okay, so A and B are the legs, C is the hypotenuse. Can you guys think of an example? What's the most famous Pythagorean triangle? Anyone know it? With actual numbers, an example. If you know this, you're officially a math nerd. No, those are angles. Looking for side lengths. Anybody know one? 248, no. 3, 4, 5, yeah. Because 3 squared plus 4 squared should equal, what's this, 9? What the heck? Okay. 9, oh my gosh. It's glitching. 9 plus 16 equals 25. Is 9 plus 16 25? Sure is. Okay, do you guys remember this formula? Go here. Okay, now review of tangent. SOHCAHTOA. Do you guys remember that? Sadly, you do. SOHCAHTOA. And we're only going to focus in chapter 1 on TOA. Okay? Why do we only care about TOA? Check this out. Draw a triangle. Yes. Everything I do, you do. Draw in the right angle. Label the rise. Label the run. Now, if our angle's down in the corner there, what do we call that, Mr. Matt Tukata? What do we call that angle? Angle of? Goes up, so it's angle of? Elevation. Good. So the angle of elevation, how do we get that angle? We would have to use tangent, because the rise is which one? Op, adj, or hype? Op. And if you're in this class, I assume you've taken trig at least once. Some of you twice, some of you at least 3 times. So you should know these. Anybody have no idea what op and adj are? Put your hand up now. Just one? Okay. So I can show you after class, okay? Opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse, the labels for trigonometry. Do you remember this, you guys? Okay. If it's not ringing any bells, then you're coming tomorrow at East and I'll show you some basic trig, okay? Tomorrow. Oh yeah, next week, Monday. Bailey, you're on top of it today. East will start Monday, yep. Okay, let's jump into the second page, okay? All right, let's take a look at this example. And I want you to write in the bold letters somewhere on this page that we use Pythagorean theorem. Use Pythagorean to solve for length. And please put a box around length. Hypotenuse. Okay. Sometimes kids will get confused about when to use the Pythagorean theorem. Whenever it says how long or what is the distance, that's when you use Pythagorean theorem. Solve for length. Okay? Alright, so in this question, what did they give you? A couple legs, and what did they want? Hypotenuse. Okay? Okay, now I'm going to take a calculator that I would borrow, and I'll type in what you want to type in. Okay? and then I'll take a picture of it and I'll put it up on the board, and then you guys can match it. Because all this work here that they're showing here in the solution is unnecessary and not needed. It's one calculator trick, okay? What's it called, that symbol? Theta? Theta. Okay, so theta, the angle of elevation, is always going to be equal to the second function tangent, and then you put a bracket in your calculator and you do the rise divided by the run. Okay, and that will work every time. And what mode does your calculator need to be in? DAG mode, right? You guys ever see the movie Snatch? You like DAGs? No. It's got Brad Pitt. You ever see that movie? Well, he's an Irish guy, and they say, instead of saying dog, they say dag. So that's what it reminds me of. Okay, moving on. Build your skills. In each diagram, calculate the indicated side using the Pythagorean theorem and find the indicated angle using the tangent ratio. So, solving for hypotenuse. In this case, the hypotenuse is labeled h. Okay, the trick is always the square root of the legs squared. This is the trick. Okay? Why is that the trick? Because what's the formula always? C squared equals a squared plus b squared, right? You guys know that formula. It's since grade 9. How do you get rid of a square on the left to solve for c? You got a square root. So you're basically just square rooting the legs squared. And if you have a nice calculator, this will always work. Every time. Okay, sometimes you need brackets to help the calculator out. Okay, so like on the calculator, most calculators, it's going to look like this. That symbol, then a bracket, 1.9 little house 2 plus 4.3 little house 2. Close the bracket, and it should spit out the answer. Okay, how many of you guys got an answer for me? Looks like a 4.7. A 4.7. Noelle's got 4.7. This is a good calculator. Good. Bracket. 1.9. 2. In fact, you have that button there. That works good too. Yep. It's 4.7. Who's got it on their calculator? Yeah, looks like 4.7. If you type 4.8, you might just press the calculator wrong. No calculator? Yeah, because it's 4.3.
I don't understand how to put it on the
Second, boom. Bracket. And then 1.9 power 2 plus power 2. Close the bracket. Okay, so now a little bit of math. Always, 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 your hypotenuse is what compared to the other legs? Longer. Good. So if you get a number that's smaller than 1.9 or 4.3, you know you've done it wrong. And you got to put in the unit, okay? You might be typing in something wrong. You type 4.5 or something? Yeah. Okay, now to solve for the indicated angle, which in this case is g, okay, g will be equal to the second function tan, bracket, the rise divided by the run. Okay, and if you're in DAG mode, this will come out no problem. 1.9 dividing 4.3 Dag mode. And usually I just go to the nearest degree. And I've got 24 here. You might be in a different mode. No, you're good. Check it. Did you do, you haven't done the angle yet. Second function tan. Yep. And then you need a bracket after that one. Okay. A lot of calculators, you must put in this bracket. So if you don't have that bracket, something went wrong. Yeah, looks good. Looks good. For 10? For this? The bracket? I put it in. You have to use a, that's a negative button. Okay, so you guys finish off 1 to 3 here. Okay? And I'll come around and help you guys. Josh, come up to the desk here. This is twice now. Let's go right now. Quick. Now. Okay, so here we have for r. R squared is equal to 7.8 squared plus 8.2 squared. To solve for r, we would square root this bad boy. Okay? Yeah, and in the calculator, you would need brackets. So what are your answers? 11, I'm hearing. 0.3. Okay, and then second function tan of the rise over the run. And what is it? 44? Perfect. Put the degree symbol. Do not forget the degree symbol, okay? A lot of students on the test, they'll be like 11.3, and you can see I screwed up. What did I forget? M. It's important when you're doing the written response to really explain to me that hypotenuse solves for side lengths, which are measured in like meters, centimeters, feet, kilometers, stuff like that. And then second function tangent solves for angles. And if you put the degree symbol, then I really know that you understand what's going on. You're not just like plugging away and hoping for the best. Okay? Also, how do we know what the hypotenuse is? It's always directly across what? The 90 degrees. So in this case, F is your hypotenuse. So to solve for F, square root the two legs after they've been squared and added. You always square separately, add them, and then square root at the end. Okay? And the calculator will do all that perfectly for you because the calculator understands order of operations. The nice ones that I give you, and if you put the brackets in the calculator, you're good. Second function tan is going to solve for which angle? If you put 6.5 over 9.4, which angle did it solve for? This one down here. That's why you kind of got to be smart about this. Same with the one above. That 44 is right here. It always does the opposite over the adjacent. So we didn't solve for S up there, did we? Okay. What's the answer for this one down here, the second function tan of the rise over the run? What is it? 35. Okay, so that's down here, 35. Okay. So this question wants you to solve for S and E. So what do all the angles in a triangle add up to? 180. So how do we solve for these missing angles, S and E? Yep, minus 35 from 90. Jaden, you must have taken this course last semester or something. Oh, nice. Okay, and the other one, 90 minus 44 is? Put a 6, that gets you to 50, so 46. Okay, and that way you can solve for them. Okay, because if they all add up to 180, and you know that there's a 90 in there, those other two angles always have to add up to 90. The two acute angles always have to add up to 90, plus this 90 is the 180 for the triangle. All right. Working with slope and the tangent ratio. So this is something you already know. You can cross this out. This isn't going to help you at all. I would just label the rise and the run, and then you'll be good to go. Rise, run, that will solve for x. Okay? Alright, so cross out x and y, just put rise and run. Okay, and you can see that this x is represented right here. Alright, rise goes up and down, run goes left and right. Tangent gives you the angle of elevation if you use rise and run. Okay, so let's put a note in there. Note. Rise over run with second tan gives angle of elevation. Okay, so you don't get hung up like on the last page where it wanted the other angle. So it's just being picky, I guess. And this is also wrong. You need to cross this out. This, where it says y is called the angle of depression, cross that out because it's not. This book is wrong. The angle of depression actually is this one. You have to draw in a horizontal line, and the angle of depression is here. This is the angle of depression. It's made with the horizontal, and it goes down. I'll blow that up for you. Okay, but we'll get into that when we talk about trig. Okay, and that's in chapter 4. In this slope unit, all you have to worry about is second function tangent. That's the only trig in the first unit. There won't be sine, there won't be cos, okay? It's just second function tangent. And I'll totally prep you for this when it comes time to the test. Okay? We'll do quiz corrections, you'll have a quiz portfolio, you'll be prepped for the test, and you'll do well on the test. Okay, the next example says find the slope of the hypotenuse as a fraction and use it to find the angle of elevation. See what they're doing here, it's some unnecessary stuff. Remember what we did last day? When it's decimals, so like when you just do this formula like we were doing in quiz 1, rise over run, what do you do when you have decimals? What do you do when you have decimals? Yeah, you just slide it, right? Slide it. If you slide that one once, slide this one once. You get 68 over 42. Use that ABC button, and it will do it for you all by itself. Okay, you don't have to think about it. Okay? But in fact, when you go to do this, all this is unnecessary as well. All you have to do is go second function tangent, rise over run, 6.8 over 4.2. You don't even have to get this into that. The calculator will do this fine. Second function tangent, rise divided by run. Nothing tricky. Okay, just 6.8 divides 4.2. And then it should spit out 58 degrees. I'll just confirm that on mine. Yep, no problem. And I always just round degrees to the nearest degree because degrees are pretty accurate. Any questions on this page? See, sometimes this book makes things difficult more than it needs to be. Okay. Build your skills too. Calculate the angle of elevation and the slope of the hypotenuse. Okay, perfect. I feel like this is just a repeat of what we've already been doing. Theta equals second function tan, bracket, 11 divided by 25. I'll put a C here for hypotenuse. Oh, it doesn't want the length. See, this is where you got to be really tricky, or you got to read really carefully. See, what does it say? Calculate the slope of the hypotenuse, not the length. So you don't want to use c squared equals a squared plus b squared. You don't want this, because it says slope, not length. Okay? So slope is super easy. You just go 11 over 25. Okay, so in my calculator, let's see what I would do. I'd go 11 divides 25. That's fine. That's a slope right there. Slope as a number. Math, fraction, if I want a fraction. Okay? Some of you guys have other buttons to press on your calculator. Now I'd go second function tan, second function answer, and then out comes the degrees. Okay? Rounded to the nearest degree, you got 24. Okay? Are we back on here? Okay. Uh-oh. I don't know, I think I got to turn this off or something. Okay. Stop. Okay, we're good. So this one here, what's your first step? Calculate the, what do I type into my calculator? What divides what? Which one goes on top? 29 divides 14. This is letter B. Okay? So rise over run, 29 over 14. 29 is a prime number, so there's no way this is going to reduce. So you can go to a decimal if you like. Now, second function tan of that goes right there. And you should get your answer. What'd you get there, Jaden? 64.2, which will round to the nearest degree, 64. Okay? Jaden, I'm making you famous putting you on these YouTube videos. You keep responding, I'll keep saying your name, you'll be famous. Okay, now take a look at 3. See, what's the difference in 3? In 2 it says what's the slope of the hypotenuse, but in 3 it says what is the length of the hypotenuse. So that means now you got to use this. Okay? So be super careful. The word length, you're going to attribute in your mind to the Pythagorean theorem. Okay? The rise and the run are the two legs. Okay, so the ski jump, the rise is 3, the run is 7, the right angle is down in the corner. So 7 squared plus a 3 squared, and then you square root that to solve for C. So what was that, 49 and 9, add those up. It's basically the square root of 58. Square root 58 is 7.6. Okay, so there's the length. And when they ask you what's the length, you have to put the unit. In this case, it's donkeys, horses, chickens. No, it's feet, right? You have to put the unit. So many -3 students are so hesitant to write the unit. I'm not sure why. Okay. Now, the next thing. What is the angle of elevation of the jump? I have a formula for this, don't I? It's always what? Second tangent, rise, divides, run. What's the rise, 3 or 7? Yeah, so 3 divided by 7. Make sure you're in degree mode. I got 23. Maybe that's not too scary of a jump. It's only 23 degrees. 23? Yeah, I agree. So, any questions? Okay, moving on. Number 4, number 5. Okay, and then I'll give you some time to work. What time you guys out of here? 2:47? Okay, I'm shutting it down. What you're going to do for 15 minutes is not talk to each other. It's work. And I'm going to show you what to work on. Number 1 on page 32. Okay, skip to page 32. This is practice your skills. Number 1. And number 2. You have 2 questions. Okay? Number 1 is got 4 parts. Number 2 has 2 parts. So it's really 6 questions. 6 questions, 15 minutes, you know, a couple minutes per question, and you have no homework. Okay?